The house was quiet that Sunday morning. The late summer sunlight streamed through the curtains, washing the living room in a warm golden glow. Emily Carter stretched on the couch, sipping her coffee as she tried to clear her mind. She had lived in this house for 3 years now, and though she had grown used to the silence, some mornings still felt unbearably lonely. Life had shifted drastically for her after her divorce. She and her ex-husband, David, had parted ways on somewhat civil terms, but the emptiness of the house lingered long after he left. Emily filled her days with work at the local library, gardening in her backyard, and occasional dinners with friends, but in truth, there was always a quiet ache, a longing for companionship, for someone to share the small moments with. That morning, she was expecting her longtime friend, Michael Hayes, to stop by. Michael had been in her life since college, though their paths had taken different turns. He had pursued a career in architecture while she settled into her passion for books and education. Over the years, they had remained close, supporting each other through career shifts, heartbreaks, and family losses. But something had changed in recent months. Emily had begun to notice how often Michael looked at her, how his laughter lingered when they spoke, how his texts had grown more frequent and thoughtful. She wasn't naive. She sensed there was something more behind his words, though he hadn't said it outright. Part of her heart was curious, even hopeful, but another part of her feared ruining their lifelong friendship. The sound of the doorbell snapped her from her thoughts. Emily set down her mug and padded barefoot to the door. When she opened it, Michael stood there in his usual casual way, dark jeans, a plain gray t-shirt, his hair slightly tousled from the breeze. He held a paper bag from the bakery down the street. "Morning," he said with a smile that lit up his whole face. "I brought cinnamon rolls. Thought you could use something sweet today." Emily's lips curved into a genuine smile. "You always know exactly what I need." She stepped aside to let him in. As they sat together at the kitchen table, Emily felt the ease of their connection, the way Michael made the space feel alive again. They talked about ordinary things, his latest building project, her upcoming library fundraiser, the movie they had both watched last week. Yet underneath the conversation, there was an unspoken tension, a weight that neither addressed. After breakfast, Michael offered to help Emily fix a leaky faucet in the upstairs bathroom. She hesitated, knowing the faucet had been giving her trouble for weeks, but finally agreed. "If you don't mind getting your hands dirty," she teased. "Emily, you know me. I'd rather fix something than let it keep you frustrated," he replied warmly. Upstairs, Michael gathered tools while Emily busied herself with laundry. She could hear him humming softly as he worked, the sound carrying down the hall. It felt strangely intimate, having him in her private space, moving around like he belonged there. A little while later, Emily decided to take a quick shower before they went out to run errands. She called down the hall. "I'll be just a few minutes. Don't let the house flood." Michael laughed. No promises. Steam filled the bathroom as Emily stepped under the warm spray, letting the water wash away the weight of her thoughts. She tried to quiet the nervous flutter in her chest that always seemed to rise when Michael was near. What was she so afraid of? Was it possible that she wanted something more but didn't know how to admit it? She was halfway through rinsing her hair when she heard a knock on the door. "Emily." Michael's voice was hesitant, almost nervous. She froze, startled. Yeah? Everything okay?" "Sorry," he said quickly. "The faucet's giving me a hard time, and I need to shut off the water. Just didn't want to surprise you if the pressure drops." Relieved, Emily laughed softly. "Got it. Do what you need to do." There was a pause, then Michael added, almost in a rush. "Emily, can I tell you something? It's something I should have said a long time ago." Her heart pounded as she leaned against the tiled wall, water cascading around her. "Right now?" she asked, her voice shaky with both surprise and curiosity. "I know the timing is terrible," he admitted, his words muffled through the door. "But if I don't say it now, I'm afraid I'll never say it. Emily, I care about you. More than just as a friend. I've tried to hold it back, but I can't anymore. You mean everything to me." The words hung in the air, heavier than the steam surrounding her. Emily's breath caught. She had imagined this moment in countless variations, but hearing it aloud was something else entirely. For a long moment, she said nothing. Her heart was racing, her thoughts tumbling over each other. She had always feared this confession might come, because once it did, nothing could go back to the way it was. And yet, wasn't this what she secretly wanted? Finally, she spoke, her voice trembling but clear. "Michael, I don't even know what to say. I've been so scared of ruining what we have. But the truth is, I feel it too. I've felt it for a while now." There was silence on the other side of the door, then the faint sound of Michael's relieved laughter. "You have no idea how long I've been waiting to hear that." Emily pressed a hand to her chest, overwhelmed by the sudden shift in her world. A love confession, spoken through a closed bathroom door while she stood in the shower, had changed everything. When she finally stepped out, wrapped in her robe, Michael was waiting at the end of the hall. His eyes met hers, filled with both hope and uncertainty. They didn't rush into an embrace or try to define what came next. Instead, they simply stood there, two old friends realizing that the bond they had shared for so long was about to become something deeper, something far more profound. That day marked a turning point in both their lives. The house didn't feel so quiet anymore. The air seemed lighter, filled with unspoken promises. Emily knew there would be challenges ahead, navigating this new step, blending love with friendship, but for the first time in years, she felt alive with possibility. The confession hadn't just changed their relationship. It had changed her heart. And in that quiet, vulnerable moment, Emily realized that sometimes love arrives not in grand gestures, but in the unexpected spaces of life, like words spoken through a bathroom door, carried on the sound of running water.